The Makujumbi watches over the island. From up there, they keep the evil spirits away.
Hello, and welcome. I am Dawn Francis. I'm your host for the Dawn Francis Book Show right here on RTV Network. I am so excited to be with you today, and I'm so excited because this is the first book show, and it is going to be amazing and awesome. And I'm so glad for those of you who are joining me today. It's an exciting day for us. It's our first show, and thank you for joining us. I am so excited today because I'm going to be sharing with you about our book show and about all the authors that are going to be coming to share with you. It's an exciting time. And during this time, we're going to talk about the author stories. We're going to talk about the writing process. We're going to talk about the challenges, the struggles. We're going to talk about the behind the scenes stories with our authors. And it's going to be amazing and awesome. I am so glad that you are joining me today. Again, I'm Dawn Francis. And as we are starting today, I want to talk to you a little bit about myself. As your host, I have written 3 books, and I am encouraging others to write. And during this time, some of these authors are going to come forward and they're going to share their stories with you. And as I'm talking to you about books, you are also able to interact with me. If you have questions, you can go to the site and you can share and you can ask questions. And this is going to be a conversation between me and you and the authors who are going to be interviewed. And it's just going to be fun and exciting. So I'm hoping that you will join me each and every time we gather, which will be every other week, and it's gonna be fantastic. So I want you to think about those questions that you might have for the authors, those questions you might have for me, and I want you to just type it in and let us know to them. So this is going to be an interactive show. It's going to be exciting, and we're going to share and we're going to learn and we're going to talk about a whole lot that's going to help us to grow and to be better and better. So as we segue into the first book we're going to be discussing the Discovering Strength, Harnessing Strength During Times of Uncertainty. This is a collaborative book. And as we're going to introduce one of our authors shortly, I want to talk to you about the beginning of how it came about. So it's a collaborative. And in this collaborative, there are 16 authors who are going to share, who are sharing their stories. But as the collaborative came about, the very first chapter is my chapter. And that chapter is titled More in You. Okay. And so More in You, it kind of segue to the whole entire Discovering Strength. Why? Because when you think about discovering strength within you, you have to think about more. So that chapter, which is the very first chapter, it's my chapter, it excites me for a number of reasons. It excites me because it allows me to share with you a part of my history. And a part of history has to go to my parents, my mom and my dad. And Bishop Williams, who was my dad, he had a message and he always would say, there's more in you. And within the story, there's more in you. A lot of times, as we're going through things in life that challenge us, right? We get to the point where we're like, oh my God, I'm just done. I'm done. I don't have any strength left. I am so done. And he shares this story where there's a gentleman who's worked all day long and he's super duper tired and he's exhausted and he has to walk home because he doesn't have a car. And so he's worked all day, he's super tired, and he's like, I can't go now one more step. And what he does is he sits down and he lays his head up against a tree, and right when he does that, his head goes into a hornet's nest. And so, although he says, I'm super tired, I have absolutely no strength left, they said they saw that same man who said, I'm so tired, I have nothing left. After he put his head in the hornet's nest, they said they saw him running top speed. So that whole thing lets you know there's absolutely more in you. So a lot of times when we're going through things and in life, we are like, oh God, I just don't have anything left. I'm done. Well, we're going to suggest to you that there's absolutely more in you. When you discover that strength that's within you, and we're going to talk about it a lot, and we're going to just kind of dive into each chapter, I want you to know there is absolute more in you. And as you discover your strength, and we're going to talk more about that so that you can discover the strength that you have within you, you will realize there's more in you. Not that you can't take the time to make sure that you're okay, and we're going to talk about that too, but just know this, there is more in you, and you can discover the strength within you. And as I said, we're going to talk about that with our authors, and we're going to talk about that so that you can think through and so that you can discover the strength that you have within you. So now, the bookshelf. And my excitement about that is that we're going to be bringing you authors who have walked a path, all right? They've walked a path and they're sharing that path with you. And one of the things that you're going to realize that I'm super duper passionate about is sharing your story. Why? Why your story? Because if I go down a path, I know where the bumps in the road are, or I know where the potholes are. And if I can share with you that if you're coming down that path yet again, you don't have to go to the left, you don't have to go to the right, but you can go this pathway and you can miss the potholes. You can miss all those things that I went through. And so, if I can share one thing with you to help you with your journey, if I can share, or our authors can share one thing with you to help you with your journey, so that you may not have to have the exact same struggles, then why would I not do that to help you? And so, that is one of the things that we're going to be doing. We're going to be sharing stories to help each other so that we can be better and better as humans. All right. So, in a moment, we're about to take a break. And as we take that break, we're going to come back with my first author who is going to share a part of her story and her background with you that is absolutely going to inspire you. And so when we come back in just a moment, we are going to meet with our first author. And I know you want to know who it is, and it's super exciting. Her name is Pauline Reed. And in just a moment, we'll be right back, and we'll start with Pauline Reed.
You know you are a hot one. We are lime, we are laugh, we are chat, we no chill, we are hot one. Temperature rise, clear vibes in ya, this a hot one. Link up, connect, bust a sweat when you're dead on the hot one. We gonna spice it up like fire.
I couldn't be more excited today to introduce you to my first guest, who's very special to me. She is not only a first time author and so many other things, she's also my big sister. And Pauline Reed is with us today, and I am thrilled that she's with us. And hello, Miss Pauline Reed. How are you doing?
I am doing wonderful, wonderful. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for joining me, and thank you for being my first guest. That is so exciting and so amazing. And I'm so glad you're here with me. I want to thank you again for being my first guest. That's so special.
Oh, you're welcome.
So, we are going to jump right into this because we know that everybody is listening in and watching and wanting to know, who is Miss Pauline Reed? Who is us? Who is she? And so, as we get started, I want to start off by saying, I know a lot about you, but our listeners don't. So, I want you to tell us a bit about yourself. Who is Miss Pauline Reed behind all the titles? And I do know all the titles, but I'm not going to give them, because if I give them away, then they're going to be like, well, why is she telling us? I want them to hear it from you. I want you to tell me, who is Miss Pauline Reed behind all those wonderful titles that are listed for who you are?
Dawn, I'm glad you asked, because sometimes a title can, sometimes a title can show you in a different light than you really want to be shown. I'm Pauline Reed, and I was born in the Bahamas. I grew up in the U.S., so I guess you can say I'm an American Bahamian woman.
Yeah.
I'm a wife of a wonderful man, a sister of several siblings, an aunt, and a mother to many.
Yeah.
By the way, I wear many hats.
Mhm.
And
But you don't have a hat today.
huh?
But you don't have a hat today.
So some of the hats, whatever I need to become at any given time, I become just that. I was always like that, trying to do this and that, like a handy person around the house. I do a little plumbing if needed. Hey,
Wow, plumbing?
yes, I
That
do a little. I know a little about electric, so if I need to fix something, I can do that.
oh my,
Um,
that is definitely many
I
hats.
I sew. I used to sew all my clothes until I said, "That's it. I'm tired."
Oh my word.
Yeah, so I used to
Amazing in
sew.
itself.
I'm also a great housewife, and my husband, he can attest to that.
Ah,
So I'm a woman who have embraced. I embraced my Christian faith very much so, and I want to utilize all of my God-given talents that He has given me, in worship, training choirs, and developing them for ministry. So um, I kind of juggle things around as needed. I also love working with children. I love them. I served as choir director for the Sojourner Truth Community Youth Choir in Battle Creek, Michigan, and I've done that for over 15 years. Even while I was working, I loved it. I really loved it. And now I'm happy to say that they're still moving on with another director, and um, I'm really pleased to know that, because a lot of times when you're doing something, you
word.
start something, it ends when you end. So yes, and
So
so
your
I'm an
legacy
encourager.
is going to live on, is
I
what you're saying. Your legacy
say it
is
again.
continuing. on with the choir.
Yes.
The legacy is continuing on. That's amazing and awesome. You
Yes.
definitely are a woman of many multiple talents, obviously. So all those wonderful hats, I can't believe the whole plumbing and electricity and all that. I personally, as a woman, I can't. I'll just straight up say I can't. But it's amazing that you are just so gifted in so many areas and so talented. So not only the technical part, but you also that whole music directing and teaching and wow, that's amazing. So as we are going to segue into the next part of our questions, I'd like for you to share the title of your chapter within the Discovering Strength book. What is the title of your chapter?
Love Found Me. That's
Wow.
the title. Love Found Me. I didn't go looking for love, okay? But love found me. And that's phenomenal.
You weren't, in other words, you weren't looking for love in all the wrong places, like the song says, looking for love in all the wrong places. Love found you. I want to dig into that, to your story. Can you tell us, where did your story start? Where did your story start?
My story started after I graduated from high school. I thought I met the man of my dreams. And we got married. But unfortunately, it didn't turn out like I envisioned it to turn out. And it was very heartbreaking, devastating. I was 18 years old.
Wow, that is,
Needless to say, yes.
you were a baby.
Yes, I was. Yeah.
18.
So
I can't
yeah.
even quite imagine that. But so you started, that's where your story started, when you were 18. And of course, we're not going to give the whole story away, because of course we want people to read it and we want people to ask questions. But it started when you were 18 and you got married. So and you talk a little bit about the struggle. Would you like to dig a little deeper into that struggle?
Well, after that happened, the struggle was more emotional than anything else, because I was back at home with my parents and my family. Now, mind you, that wasn't a real bad thing, because some people are left out in the cold and left alone, and they don't know what to do. But I had family, loving family. I mean, I was right back home. Hey, I'm back. But the love of my family and the support was a source of strength, which I really, really needed at that time. And that gave me the courage to move on.
Oh, that is amazing. And that definitely was showing you discovering the strength within you, obviously. And even when you were going through that slight struggle, but it wasn't a slight struggle. It was a definite struggle that you went through. I want to just talk to me a little bit about, like, why you decided to share your story with the world at this time. I personally believe that it's very, very important. But I want you to tell our listeners and those who are watching why.
Well, I feel like the reason I wanted to share this story, the opportunity came. It was like God opened the door. And I knew at one time that I would, but I didn't know when. And then when you begin to ask me, would you want to share your story? And I was like, I don't know. But when God opened that door, I said, yeah, this time, it's time. And I also believe that sharing my story can help others on never giving up on your dreams. and your hope and your aspirations. Because too many people, they go through things and they just shut the door, just said, that's it, and so I want to encourage people to seek the Lord's will in their lives, because I know the safest place in the world is in the will of God.
Yeah.
And you can't go wrong doing that. I remember one time telling God, and I was praying, I said, Lord, I don't want to be by myself the rest of my life.
Oh.
And I said, but if that's your choice for me, you'll give me the grace to go through it. And I really meant that. I mean, I set that in my mind that if it's God's will for me to be single the rest of my life, I can do this because he's gonna take me through it. He's gonna give me the grace too. And I really meant it.
Absolutely. Oh, that's amazing. And so that's mindset, that's strength, that is faith and focus and so many other things. And what we're going to do in just a moment is we have some interaction happening. And so some of our listeners are asking questions. And one of the questions is, did you have any regrets getting married at that time?
During that time, I didn't feel any regrets because I was kind of walking through the process. But now when I look back, I have some regrets. I married at a very young age. There's a lot of things that I didn't understand at the time that I do understand now. So, I take it all as a learning experience, a growing experience. It may be better today than I was back then.
Wow, that's awesome. We're about to take a break, but when we come back, we're going to dig in deeper to some questions that I know all of you at home want to hear the answer to. So we'll be right back in just a moment. Because with as we're coming back, we didn't jump into our break yet, but as we're coming back, I have a question for Pauline, for her to share with our listeners, and as she's going to share with our listeners, how in dealing with the struggle, the question on dealing with someone who's struggling with their sexuality, and how we as a people can help them, one, and two, those people who may be getting into those kind of relationships and don't have the insight, don't have the help, which you probably didn't have at the age of 18, but now and I want you to talk to that person and share with that person who may be struggling, one, with their sexuality, or two, they may be getting ready to get into a relationship and they may not even know what that person may be struggling with. So when we come back from our upcoming break, we're going to dig into that. And for those of you who are at home, if you have any interactive questions that you want to ask, we want you to go ahead and get those questions ready for us, and we're going to answer those questions. All right.
Welcome to Behind the Inspiration Podcast, the show that encourages and motivates with our 5-minute interviews of inspiration. My name is Ken Waller, and I am your host. The Behind the Inspiration podcast is a part of my moving forward by helping others identify what true inspiration is. Behind the Inspiration podcast was developed to provide a platform for sharing awesome, uplifting stories by individuals inspired by events or situational experiences in their lives. You know, inspiration motivates you to be better and to do better. Different things inspire different people. There is so much inspiration in this world. It's important that we start to highlight the things that inspire us versus the things that are destroying us. The Behind the Inspiration podcast can be heard right here on Anchor Podcast or on the podcast platform of your choice. Thank you in advance for tuning in.
Hello and welcome. My name is Carolyn Howell, and I'm the executive producer of the Caribbean Food Network, the newest and the most fabulous way to eat, drink, and think food, fun, anything culinary, travel, tourism, you name it, we're in. Right now, I'm standing in Cookology, or at least one of the Cookologies. Cookology is a fabulous recreational and professional way to learn how to cook. And isn't that what we all want to do? Eating is how we keep going. So in a minute, I'm going to introduce you to Maria. Maria is the founder and the owner of Cookology. We're so excited about our partnership and what the Caribbean Food Network is going to do. We can't wait for you to see. So sit tight. Hey everyone.
We're back with Miss Pauline Reed. And as we left, we were talking about one of our questions, which is how within your story and your experience can you share insight to a person who is, one, dealing with going into a relationship with knowledge about a person that they don't fully know, one, and then how would you encourage that person who is dealing with a person who is struggling with their sexuality, and speak to that for us?
Well, I feel like the first thing you need to do is always be true to yourself and to others.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be open. You need to talk, communicate, so that you can get to know each other. You don't want to walk in anything blindly. Now, lack of communication it's really bad because you don't know. Without talking, you don't know.
Right.
So, ask questions. Hear what they're saying. Hear what they're saying, and also what they're not saying. So, you're not just listening, but you're not just hearing what they're saying, but you're really listening to what they're saying. And you don't want to walk into anything blindly. You take the time that you need. You don't need to rush into anything. Especially today, how today is very accepting in this area.
Okay.
So, you need to really talk, and people of God, pray. Prayer is the key. So I would encourage you to do that, and you can't go wrong.
And
Also,
okay, go ahead.
yeah, also you need to you need you need to have counseling.
Okay.
Please don't turn that down. Counseling and people of faith, you need
Absolutely. Yes.
pastoral counseling.
Yes.
And
So
that way.
that is awesome for you to share just through your experience, because experience is going through it and telling someone what they need to do. It's like, if you don't know, then you really shouldn't be trying to tell somebody something if you've not walked it. That's just how I think. So you've walked it, and you're saying to our listeners, you're saying to those who are viewing, seek counsel, and not only seek counsel, but ask questions. And the teacher that I am, I'm just kind of going back to what you said. Seek counsel, and to make sure that you ask questions, and then you also have to really be a good listener. And I think that is key, because a lot of times we are not listening to one another, and somebody tell you all day long, listen, this is who I am, this is who I am, you got to believe them. But then again, if they're not being honest, then you have to really dig deeper and really find a way to make sure that you are making the best decision with getting into a relationship with somebody. Did I say it back right?
Yes,
You have to
you
let
did
me
it
know.
well.
All right, well, we're going to jump to the next question, because we have so much and our time is limited. It's almost like the class is almost over. But what did writing your story mean to you personally? What did it mean to you?
Well, writing my story, it helped me to know that there's more in me, that I can do what I put my mind to do.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, when I first heard, I said, "Oh, I can't do that." But I started thinking about it, and the more I thought about it, I said, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try. Somebody need to hear my story. I'm gonna try. And so it meant a lot to me, because it helped me to find that part of me, that strength in me that says no. It helped me to to realize that I can do it.
Absolutely. So would you say the writing process helped you to grow
Yes, it did.
in any way? And if so,
It not only helped me to grow, it helped me. When you're writing a story about yourself, you're digging back, and you're going back, and you're uncovering some things that you covered up and you don't want to think about, and you know what I'm saying? So you're researching, and you're going back over that stuff. And so it really helped me to see how God really brought me through,
wow.
because it wasn't like, it wasn't like boom, boom, it happened. Now it's, when you start looking back at what you went through, then you start kind of reliving some things,
Mhm.
and it just allowed me to know how God was always interactive in my life, in my mind, in my thoughts and everything, to help me to get this far.
Oh, that is amazing. So I'm going to segue to another question and ask you, how have people received the story? I kind of know, because but I want you to tell our listeners how people have, received the story.
Well, the comments that I've read, the comments that people talk to me about the book, they were all positive.
Mhm.
They were They were excited about the book, the stories, and they were encouraged. I heard nothing negative. And guess what? I don't want to hear nothing negative.
Right.
You know, the purpose of writing the book is to help people to, you know, to continue on and not give up. And so I'm hoping that this story will do that for others.
Well, I already know that it already has. We know that it is ongoing. We know that it is still there for people to continue to dig in and share. And, you know, even with with everything that's coming up, and, you know, we just want to encourage people to stay positive and to share the stories, and to really just know that they can make it.
There's hope.
And there's hope, and they can discover their strength, right?
Yeah.
To discover their strength. And with that, we talk about strengths and weaknesses. And we know the strengths and weakness can look different to everybody. But what does it look like and feel for you when you think of strength? What does that look like and feel like for you? Strength.
Well,
we know it's evident. Don't get me wrong. We know the strength is evident because we've kind of talked about it already. I mean, we can list it. You know, you can do plumbing. You can do you cook. You sing. You work with children. You direct choirs. You do praise and worship. And then on top of that, you're married to a bishop. We'll talk about that in just a minute. And you get to, you know, help be a first. I mean, come on. You talking about hats. You talking about giftedness, but when you talk about strength, what is that for Miss Pauline Reed?
Through my journey, I've learned that my strength only came from God. You know, He's in me, so He resides in me, and so He is my strength. And I want to encourage you to know that you cannot have strength on your own. You know, God helps you to find the different. God helps you to find different things in your life to describe the strength, but it's only from Him. And without Him, I could not have made it. I don't care how strong a person seemed to be without God.
Not possible.
Not possible.
And He brings, he also gives us and brings people to us and allows us to connect to people who can, on our path, help us. And I think that is one of the key things too within this discovering strength. We have to help one another. We have to share with one another. We have to not hide and keep everything behind closed doors. We go through something and someone else can benefit from it, but we keep it hidden because we don't want to share it. So I want to thank you. And in just a moment, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to see who this woman calls her husband. And she's going to introduce us to her husband. And we're going to talk a little bit about them. And then we're going to do something fun. We're going to play a game. So you don't want to miss it. We want you to come right back in just a moment. And so
Mr. Melody, could you fly me far from here? Take me by the mind and guide me somewhere. Oh, Mr. Melody, I've been needing you so long. The blues have got hold of me and stolen my song. You were always there for me whenever I needed you to be. You were the light shining in the dark. Yeah, you helped me to believe. Right now I'm losing my faith. Find it hard just to make it through a day. I need you now, just as before. Won't you come and save the day? Come take me away. Help me to escape this pain that's throbbing in my head. Oh, Mr. Melody, could you fly me far from here? Take me by the mind and guide me somewhere. Oh, Mr. Melody, I've been needing you so long. The blues have got hold of me and stolen my song. Ooh, you sound so good to me. Cause me to remember all my dreams. Every hope that I thought was lost, I find when I hear you sing. So now I'm calling out to you, asking you to see me through. Whisper in my ear in the sweet way that you do. Come take me away. Help me to escape this pain that's throbbing in my head. Oh, would you carry me through? Come quickly and soothe me. You're the only remedy. Mr. Melody, could you fly me far from here? Take me by the mind and guide me somewhere. Oh, Mr. Melody, I've been needing you so long. The blues have got hold of me and stolen my soul. When I'm lost, you come and save me. I don't care where you wanna take me, 'cause I know that you're gonna make me forget all my misery. When I'm down, you come and pick me up. When my heart is bleeding, you can stitch it up. And I'm so grateful that I have you to come rescue me. Mr. Melody, could you
And we're back, and we're so excited. And at this time, we are going to have Miss Pauline to introduce us to her husband. Oh, what a beautiful picture of you guys. Beautiful. Oh, my word. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous indeed.
Yes, this is the love of my life right here. Let me see, can I get the camera on him better? There we go. Yes.
Well, welcome. Yes, welcome, Bishop. Thank you so much for joining us.
He
You're
is
more
my
than welcome.
the love of my life and my best friend.
Oh, that is so awesome. You guys look so happy and so beautiful together. We are so excited to have you. I want to thank you so much for coming. I do have a couple of questions for you, and before we jump into our game. So, Bishop, what would you say about the chapter "Love Found Me"?
I think it's well written. I think it's the truth. I'm a living witness of that she found love, and I'm glad it's me and not someone else.
Yes. Well, what I would like to do is ask you guys to play a game with me. Are you ready to play a game with me?
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Awesome. So I have some questions, and all you really got to do is point to each other. So we're going to know who is saying who it is, right? So
Right.
if it's Miss Pauline, you're going to point to her, and if it's him, you're going to point. So if y'all end up doing like this, we know. right. So we want to see. So I have some fun questions for you. So the first question is this: out of the two of you, because we know love is there, we can see it. But who is the most fun between the two of you?
She is, but I'm a close second.
All right. Okay, close second. Second question. Okay. Who is the most affectionate?
Well, again, I'm a close second.
Okay. All right. Okay. Who's the most talkative?
She is the most talkative.
Well, you're like my word, Miss Pauline. You are like
Telling you, she
okay.
wears many hats.
This might be one for you, Bishop.
Yes,
Who's
ma'am.
the best driver?
I am.
Now, are you in agreement with that, Miss Pauline? Are you in agreement? Okay. All right. Who is the most frugal?
I am.
See, you're winning. You got some points here.
Yeah.
Here. Okay. And I know because he's bishop and he preaches, but I'm gonna ask the question anyway. Okay. Who reads the most?
I do.
Okay. Okay, this is a good one. This is a really, really good one. With all the self-care and everything that we're doing, who would you say exercises the most?
Physically?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I do.
Okay. See, you getting it. Let's see. Who's the better cook?
Oh well. By far. Probably only because I stay out of the kitchen.
You stay out of the kitchen. Okay. But if you went in the kitchen, maybe you might give her a little competition.
I give her a run for the money.
Okay. All right.
Very creative. So.
Okay. Who takes the longest showers?
I think he does.
I spend my allotted time.
He does. I take longer baths. He takes longer showers.
Okay. Understand. Okay, let's see. Who is most addicted to their cell phone? Who's always on their cell phone?
She is.
Okay. She looks a little surprised about that, Bishop. She
Well,
was just a little bit surprised.
I'll take it.
Okay.
She is.
Okay, here's a good one. Who is the most romantic?
I think she'll say she is.
You think you are?
What do you say?
I'll give her the edge, basically.
Give her the edge.
Yes.
You give her the edge.
Mhm.
Give her the edge. Okay. Okay, let's see. Our last question is, who sleeps the longest? Who gets the most rest? You gotta think about that one.
Yeah, I think she does.
He does.
I think this is one of those questions where y'all both pointing to one another.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
it.
think that might be a really good way to end, huh? A good way to end because you're saying it's her and she's saying it's you. Well, I want to thank you guys so much for being my first guest on the show. As you guys know, I love you both, and I think you both are marvelous, amazing people. And I want to thank you for joining us today. and we are about to end the first show. And
Wow.
in our excitement, I just have to say again, thank you guys for coming on, being my first guest, being such wonderful guests, and for playing a game with me and being honest about it. And at this time, I just want to say thank you to all those who are viewing. Thank you to all those who were not only viewing, but you were sharing and you were also collaborating and asking questions. We had a couple questions that came up that we were able to be interactive. Thank you so much for that. And I want to say this to you today. Have a fabulous day. We are getting ready to close the show out, but have a fabulous day. Why? Because you can make
Yeah.
beautiful memories with your family, with your loved ones. Why? Because you can. And I say that because we can make a decision to have a fabulous day. I want you to have a fabulous day. And here's the thing, I want you to come back because the show will be coming back and I'll have more guests. We'll have more questions. We'll have more games, more interactive fun. And I want those of you who are listening to share, come to our TV network, come and be a part of the Dawn Francis Book Show. Why? Because you're going to discover your strength, because you're going to learn, because you're going to be engaged. We're going to have fun, and it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
So, that being said, thank you for joining me. And I want you guys to have a fabulous day on purpose because you can. Thank you.
Thank
Dawn Francis here. I want to invite you to the upcoming new book show. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be amazing and awesome with wonderful authors and wonderful information. It's so exciting. So make sure that you tune in and have a fabulous day on purpose. Why? Because you can. Thank you.